Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I show you guys how to use Codewarrior to program in assembly. So hopefully you have Freescale's Codewarrior. If not, I'll put the steps on how to do that in the description. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, the first thing you need to do is select what microcontroller you're going to be using. There's a whole bunch of different families, so make sure you know which one that you need. I'm going to be using this derivative. And then you need to select in what way your microcontroller is connected to your computer. If you don't actually have the microcontroller, just select full chip simulation. If you're interested in buying this microcontroller, I'll put the link in the description. It costs like $60. It's not that big of a deal. So I would recommend buying that if you're taking like a class or something. It will make your life a lot less stressful. Trust me. Okay, so let's just unselect C and select assembly because we're just going to be programming in assembly for now. And then let's name our project. Number 1. Okay, and everything else is good to go. Alright, so here we have our very first project, which is in this main.asm file. And they give you all this starter code. It does stuff with Fibonacci numbers. You don't really need it. You could delete all this stuff. You could delete all this if you want. But I'm just going to leave these 2 lines of code in here for now. So yeah. Also, another thing is when you program, you usually make like variables and then you have your instruction statements. But in assembly, you have different sections for your variables, and then you have another section for your actual code. So each section is defined using the keyword section, and then it has some name in front of it. So over here is our variable data section, and then over here is our code section. Alright, so we just have 2 variables right now, and then we have 2 simple lines of code. So let's just go ahead and compile, and then let's run it, debug it. Alright, so this is the debugger, and there's a whole bunch of little sub windows in here, but let's just go through all of this. So this window is where all your code is going to pop up. You can step through your code line by line, or you could just run the whole thing. So if you wanted to step through it, you would click this button up here, single step. And then if you want to run, you just want to run through the whole thing, you just press this green arrow button right here. Alright, so in this window, assembly, this is where your the real actual assembly code is, I guess. If you have some C code in your program, the corresponding assembly code will pop up here. You don't really need to worry about this stuff though. This window is where all your registers are and some of the other stuff. Like you have your instruction pointer here, your program counter, you have your stack pointer, and then you have your condition code register. Okay, and then you'll also have 3 registers to work with, just 3. You should be able to get whatever you need done using these 3 registers. You need to You need to know how to manipulate these registers, and you will become very good in doing that. Trust me. So, each of these registers are 2 bytes long, and register D is probably the register that you'll be using the most. It has 2 subparts, A and B, and A and B are each 1 byte long. Okay? It has all the stuff that's inside the register available for you to see. So D has CB in it right now, and that will change every time you load a new value into the register. Okay? Over here is where your variables are, your data. So these are the only 2 variables that we have. If we go back to the program, these are the only 2 variables that we have. And in here, your memory window, this is where you can look at all the memory spots. There's a whole bunch of memory spots. Some of them you can't use though. Alright, some of them are reserved spots. So whenever you're defining like variables or something, they will pop up in memory starting at location 900. Okay? And if you want to bring up a certain spot, you just right click inside the window and then go to address and then type in what memory location you want to go in. And all these memory locations are in hexadecimal. Okay, the register values are also in hexadecimal. So you should be very, very fluent in reading hexadecimal numbers. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We can go ahead and step through the program. When I step through this first line, it's going to initialize the stack pointer, and it's going to initialize the stack pointer to this thing, whatever location this thing is, which will be 900. So when we step through, you're going to see the stack pointer over here change to 900. And see? 900. So, yeah, that's basically the very basics of getting started with Codewarrior. We will go ahead and make our very first program in the next tutorial. So, thanks for watching.